Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Maryland, Mr. Raskin, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, for calling this important hearing and talk about fighting the last war. My friend, Mr. Biggs, invites us to believe that the legislation was just a partisan attack on Donald Trump's corruption that he brought to Congress, or the Democratic leadership of not pursuing it aggressively enough against Donald Trump. But if it were purely partisan, why would we be bringing it up now when Joe Biden is president? So I don't know, somebody needs to update the talking points a little bit over there. Let's see, I'd like to start with Mr. Blackwood. Can you explain why we need to update the Plum book?
Yes, thank you for the question. The Plum book is, as I stated earlier, grossly outdated at times and is not reflecting the most accurate information. And so we need to fix it with providing real-time information, fixing errors that we already know not to be accurate, and making it readily accessible in a more downloadable and machine-readable format. For example, the current Plum book is missing at least 10 organizations. It only comments on filled, not vacant positions, and it does not include the new cyber director in the executive office of the president, and is missing a summary of the positions in the White House. This information—
Okay, can you explain why that's an actual problem for the American people and for democracy, for us not to have up-to-date data and information about who occupies different federal posts?
Yes, I believe a fundamental part of accountability is transparency. And so if the American public does not know who is filling a position, it makes it hard to know who's making decisions on their behalf and who can hold them accountable.
Okay, thank you much. Ms. Hempowitz, my former student who I'm very proud of, let me come to you and ask this question. The inspector generals play a critical role in checks and balances within each agency and department. As a number of the witnesses have pointed out, they've saved us tens of billions of dollars, or saved the taxpayers tens of billions of dollars in money that it would have gone to corrupt schemes, self-dealing, waste, abuse, giveaways to special interests, and so on. So why is it important for us to say that the president can only sack an inspector general for a good reason? Why wouldn't we want the president just to be able to get rid of these inspectors general at will?
Thank you for that question, Congressman. And I raise this example only because it's relevant, not because I want to harp on President Trump. I've heard that that's not what this hearing is for.
You don't have to apologize for using facts.
Just simply last year, when the president, in quick succession, removed or sidelined 4 inspectors general, what we heard from the remaining inspectors general was that they were terrified to do their jobs, and that's terrible for the American taxpayer. If IGs are worried at the beginning of an investigation that it may, at the end of that investigation, lead back to anybody that it has the political favor of the president, then they're incentivized not to do those investigations at all. And I think it's important we talk about the financial return that inspectors general have, and that is absolutely critical. But I also hear members on the Republican side of the aisle talking about having concerns about when the government infringes on people's constitutional rights. That is also well within the inspectors general is the investigative mandate. And so if we want these independent inspectors general to do their jobs that not only save taxpayers money, but also uncover instances where the executive branch is abusing its authority against the American people, independence is a critical part of that. And I will just highlight again that before the Inspector General Act of 1978 was passed, these jobs were being done within the executive branch. And Congress found that it was a failure because those people doing those investigative and oversight roles were not independent, and so they weren't investigating in a fulsome way. And it was what the result was that there was inefficient and ineffective oversight over executive branch programs. And I don't think that's what we want. And so I think it is really critical to recognize that the independence that was built into the IG Act when it was passed is not working.
We seem to have a technical problem now.